Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Sisters and brothers, welcome. This is a short redux of my previous presentation earlier today, Levites Enigma. I left a couple of things out of the last one, and it's important, and I'm just going to give you a brief remake. Bring those things because you really need to understand Joseph, right? The really beauty of it, how it really comes together. So that's what I'm going to do here, because I left out a couple of things. So I'm correcting them, hopefully. We'll go through it fairly quickly, and you can compare this to what I gave you previously. It's nothing, no difference. It's just some added information, things I left out. Now remember I said this is the key here. Now this is the key at the time where it looks like, the key looks like after the war in the Middle East, after Iran and Syria has defeated Gog and Magog, defeated America and Britain and thrown them out. That's the configuration just before the four winds blow. But that's not really important, pertinent to what I'm about to talk about. But that's the key, the angel key. And this is what I wanted to see. I left out the other one. And I see a couple of things I still didn't change, but it doesn't matter. Now they talk about, and I'm going to give some explanation because I didn't go into detail, talking about the four creatures and then the seven spirits of God. That's it. One was like a lion. I didn't correct. Well, says, I really need to get some rest. Okay, see the one down there where Obama, one like a lion, right? That's the four winds there, two trumpets. There are seven trumpets, but I neglected to correct that page, so I can talk my way through it. Then the one like a calf, house of sod. That's house of a calf. That's like a calf. One face of a man. That's over here. What it calls the sea. So the rivers, right, and the waters. That's face of a calf. See, I mean, it's not exactly like it is the four creatures, but the symbolism is across chapter. Every chapter, the symbolism changes, right? Key doesn't change, the symbolism does. Because we put this together, you get what we saw in the first one, right? I want you to see this because this is important when I'm putting together the story of Joseph. Then you had the seven spirits of the God. See? But three of them were corrupted. I don't know how I missed that, brothers and sisters. Maybe on the next page is correct now. And my wife keeps telling me I need rest. Maybe I should not be so hard-headed and listen. Okay, Joseph's 11 brothers. Now, we talked about that in the previous one. See, if you count those up, you got 12 altogether, right? So Joseph is a star there, son. That's 11 brothers. They're all from Jacob. See, Jacob had 12 sons. Joseph is the one that became over all the other 11 ones. Was set, because that's the way you have to understand the whole. See, Joseph had three visions. Well, he didn't have three visions, but he interprets three visions. He interprets three visions. So we're going to talk about the three visions. There are 11 brothers. Now this is each vision has two parts to it, which is interesting, right? So this one here, right? This is the ark. This one we all come together, we back home and everything, right? This is his first dream, the dream he had personally. See, then Joseph had a dream we told to his brothers, they hated him even more. He said to them, listen to this dream which I have had. Behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and behold, my sheep stood up, also remaining, and also remained standing. and beheld your sheaves gathered around out to the sheep. Now we already know that Jacob's 12 brothers, so we don't have to get a number, but it says they, his brothers, would bow down to him. There you go right there. So we know who his 12 brothers are. We understand. I've been trying to explain to you about the line of the seed line, right? Of Isaac. Isaac came from Abraham. I try the genealogy of it, right? How it all end up with Jacob being an inheritor, the youngest son, and then if he was inherited, that means his children would inherit after him. That's 12 tribes right there. Not the 12 tribes, but the 12 tribes, you call that too. 12 sons. Let's see if we can make sense out of this. And then we go next. So he had to put this together. Then he had yet another dream. So it's two dreams, always two dreams refer to the same thing. And informed his brothers and said, behold, I have had yet another dream. And behold, the sun, the moon, and seven stars. So that we know from the first one that the sun and moon are included in the 7 and the 11. See? Bow down to me. I said this sealed books, you have to pay very careful attention because, you know, it's 11, his brother. So that's 11. We know that's it. So they're including that. He told his father as well. His father rebuked him and said, where is this dream that you have? I'm your mother. And brothers actually going to bow down to ground before you. So everybody's going to bow to him. So all included in there. Very complicated. See? Really, you need to have I'm really talking to Lazarus who's going to wake up to 144,000. Because you need a strong grasp on the angel to really understand any of this. Right? But that's why I'm preaching the graveyard for 30 years. Preacher Lazarus. He's about to wake up. He's about to hear me. Said they will come when they will hear his call. You read that in scripture, said they will come, they'll hear his calls and come out of the grave. That's what it says in scriptures. Should I get it for you? Said they will come when they will hear his call and come out of their graves. That day is approaching fast, brothers and sisters. See? So that means he's been calling. If the day will come, hear his call, right? That means he's been calling. They just haven't come yet. 30 years calling Lazarus. Said they will come to hear his call, come out of their graves. So here it is. So we already talked about the first one. That first one talks about the ark, when they all come together. Look at that again before we move on. See, because there's 3 parts to this. 3 parts of this. Now, those understand the angel, understand 3 parts. This is after everything happens right here, final stage. That's one ark when all pieces come together. Right? The elect, Master Muhammad's elect, Elijah's people, the Levites, right there in the ark. Then the nation of Islam, these got to go through the tribulation. And the way things are going right now, Levites are going through it too. Because said the only thing that's going to wake them up, tribulation. And they've been taught and everything else. They're not getting it. Not like fire to wake you up. I've been doing this 30-some years. Nobody's told me to do anything. Nobody came and shoved anything down my throat. Nobody came and gave an angel. I mean, angel found me and I found it. Basically, I stumbled across it. I was surprised to find what was in it. Nobody told me how it works, what it means, what it says, explained to me. Right? I had to go into it myself. I had to decide to go into it myself. Once I got into it, I saw what was in it. I had to decide whether I want to stay in it and endure what it was telling me I have to endure. And there was no one to hold my hand, explain to me and tell me what to do, how to proceed, how to talk to my people, the science behind it, the mathematics. There's no one to do that. I had to get in and do that myself. How do I talk? What do I say? Who do I say it to? How much do I say? When do I say it? How much energy did I put into it? I go all in or keep on going, pursuing the American dream and just do this part-time? There was no one to tell me one way or the other. I had to figure it out for myself. Break every verse in it by myself. Break every chapter down by myself. No one's telling me to do it. There was no one standing over me saying, you got to do this. I wasn't even aware I had to do it until I got into it. And I still, nothing in this says I had to do it. Nothing in this says I had to do this. Nothing. I chose to. There's nothing that said I would be rewarded. Well, it gets insinuation, but there was like, I'm not going to comment on that one. You know, because I was kind of a little pissed off at first because my first reading, I thought, man, all these great things happened, but that wasn't why I was doing it. And it didn't happen, and I realized there was something else. It was coded. But I kept on through the hardships and everything else. I knew I would endure, and I would not receive any reward. I wasn't doing it for reward because I was always doing I was doing very well before I got hold of this angel. And then I, got hold to it, went to it, lost everything, didn't care. Didn't even miss a beat. No one stand over me telling me, you gotta do this, you gotta do whatever. And you the result right now, hard work and study. When I broke those seals, no lightning bolt hit me in the ass, said, okay, now here it is. No. Hard work was ahead. Hard work. Hard mental work, hard studying. Some of these things took me years. This particular one right here, it took me quite a while to figure this one out. I don't lie to you. It took me a while to figure this out. This is hard. This is really a hard one here. This was a hard one. Because you had to figure out some other things before you have any idea what. Anyway, so in the first dreams he had about his brothers, right? That's the ark. That's the end product. They say put it in the beginning, and that's the best place to get it, because then you have some idea what's going on, right? They position that first. That's actually the last in the sequence, the dreams he had personally. But now this dreams that he saw when he was in prison, while we're in the state we're in right now. Okay? So the chief demon had dreamed, the chief cupbearer had told his dream to Joseph, saying, in my dream, behold, there was a vine in front of me, and on the vine were 3 branches. Master Muhammad is the vine, and there's the 3 branches. He liked to say, right? And it was budding. His blossoms came out, his clusters produced ripe grapes. Now Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, so I took the grapes and squeezed them into the Pharaoh's cup, and I put the cup in the Pharaoh's hand. And then Joseph said to him, I'm not going to all the details about those particular things right there. I'm just giving you the basic idea here. This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. See, this is what he's translating it, right? Within 3 more days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore your office. So he'll be restored. See, our nation's being restored, right? And restore your office, and you would put Pharaoh's cup in his hand, and your former practice with you when you were his cupbearer. So you're going to be restored to your original position. See, that's the original nation being restored, resurrected. That's what it's trying to tell you there. Okay, so that right there, right? So let's look at the next one. Now, each one of these is always 2 dreams. 2 dreams is involved, each one of these cases. So what's the second one? So when the chief baker saw he had interpreted favorably, he said to Joseph, also so in my dream in health, there were 3 baskets of white bread on my head, and in the top basket there was some of all kinds of baked food for Pharaoh, and the birds eating them out of the basket on my head. Then Joseph answered, this is interpretation. The 3 baskets are 3 days, wherein the 3 more, say, combine the 2 together, the 2 work together 3 days, with the king, and 3 days, within 3 more days, Pharaoh will lift up your head from you, he'll cut your head off, right? And will hang you on a wooden post, and the birds will eat the flesh. That's the demon. See, we all come together and they're cast out. So we see it in the next page. That's why I left out the other couple of things too, but that's one thing I left out. See, the demons, they are cast out. So let's look at the next page and see that. See, that's the whole thing. The ark, nobody told you about it. That's not the ark. That's the original nation. Because there was five. Remember, so there was five. There was 4 beasts, 4 creatures, and the original nation, 7 spirits of God. So that's the one. So the first one's talking about the ark. So we got 2 things here. We got first talking about the ark, right? The second one is talking about the original nation being corrupted. That's the woman in chapter 12. That's the demons. They've been cast out, and the 3 were divine. 3 leaves on the vine. That's from is divine. So you put them together, and then you got that 7 spirits of God I showed you earlier. So that's what we're talking about here. So now we got 2 down. We got this ark, that's the end product. This is when the resurrection takes place and the demons are cast out. See, remember the first was restored, but the second group was cast out. Okay? So now we got 2. Now see what the next one is. Now it has another set of visions. This is from first he gets his personal vision, then he gets the one when he's in prison, right? And then he gets the final one, right, where he's out of prison. And this one, see, here you go. That's the remaining. That's the 4 creatures. This vision about the 4 creatures. That's what I meant to show the first time. I left that part so you'll see it. That's the 4 creatures. So it's 3 visions, the 4 creatures, right? They're one, because you talk about that in Revelation. And then you got the 7 spirits of God, that's one by itself. And then you got the ark, the last one. That's what the vision. So the 3 groups, and each one falls. So the first one is about the ark. The second one is about the original nation that has been corrupted, 7 spirits of God. And this is that 4 creatures. That's this vision about. So this is the one that Pharaoh has. Now it happened at the end of the 2 full years. Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the 3 rivers. I didn't change that. And beheld, from the river 7 cows came up, fine looking, fat, and they grazed in the marsh grass. Then behold, 7 other cows came up after them from the river, ugly and thin. They stood by the other cows on the bank of the river. Then ugly and thin cows ate the 7. So one's each other. So this is the first cows, and then this came up and ate these cows. What is it talking about? I talk about the water of the latter days. Let's get back to the horn. I explained in Daniel about the horn plucked up 3 by the roots. So this one here, actually, I put out a sequence. I should do. Let me go to the next one first, and then come back to this one. Oops. Well, okay, I'll go and talk about it, and we're back. This is that. So in other words, well, I'm gonna go to the next one. This is our sequence. I don't know how. I thought I could fix that. Okay, here. This should go first. Okay. The reason why it's out of sequence, because again, remember they give the ultimate characterization at first, because that should be the last thing. They put it in reverse. So I'm doing reverse why it's like this. That's the way they explain the visions. But actually, this should be first. Second one should be second, and the first one, last one should be the last one. That's what it should be. But I'm just leaving it the way they did it. Should might be confusing, might not. But that's where you should really look at it. This should be the first one. This is the first event that happens. Then the next one. Well, not quite, because before this happens, the resurrection takes place. So they don't have it anyway, understand, brothers. Because I have the ark, they have the woman that comes together, the resurrection. But the resurrection takes place after this, what's about to happen here. But one thing, see, the reason why the first one's there, because you need to understand the first one works, because you see the white there, that top white here, that's on that ark. So I don't want to confuse anybody here, because that doesn't get devoured. It's actually an ark. Anyway, watch this. This is where Europe is at war. America and Britain's already been kicked out of the Middle East. Europe is at war. And China, the crown's on that beast now, and they attack European countries, America, all the European countries. See, that's what it's talking about. Takes them out. That's what's going to happen soon. Once the war breaks out in the Middle East, in Europe, Armageddon, that's going to empower Oriental countries, China specifically. That's the goat, talked about in Daniel, that comes across, without touching land. Pacific, after the ram, American Britain. That's happened. Takes them out. But top of us don't, because remember, they're in the ark. They got delivered. It takes them out. That's what it's talking about. So the three visions, the last one's talking about this. So now what happens after this? Oops. What happens after this? I had to put it backwards here. Okay, I'm reversing, so you can understand, brothers and sisters. It's really beautiful when you understand it. Then China will end this with them. That's the goat with the leopard, yellow and brown spots. It takes out European countries. They're gone. And then this happens. Africa and Asia gets into it. Africa and India specifically gets into it, right? That's this happens. This remembers Africa. This remember this is India and Middle East, right? They get into it. Remember the top here, they're in the ark. They got delivered. So what happened in gold? What happens there? What it says, they take them out. So what we have here, we have first the resurrection, right? See how difficult it's going to be to try to explain it. Okay. There's the resurrection there. That's first. It's about to happen. Once the war break out in the Middle East. It's the resurrection up top there. I'm just showing it broken down to two visions, but that's what it is. The demons are cast out. Combined with, right? First that takes place. Then after that takes place, then this takes place. Let's follow sequence. Not that one. Next take place after that. It's this. Next place is this. They're fighting in Europe. They've already taken out in the Middle East. The war's already happened. Right? Foster is taken down. America, Britain's kicked out. Now they have war in Europe. Right? America's at war in Europe. Right? And then China, while they're at war, fight with each other. That's when China takes, I'm saying more detail. Oops. That's when China takes out European countries with Asia behind them, with them. They don't show it here, but that's what happens. Let's give you more detail. Then after that, this happens. Bear with me, brother, says I'm working on two systems here. Let's back up. Then this happens. And remember, China's already taken out that European countries, they're gone. So you have three powers now. Three major powers. Africa and Asia, right? And China. European powers, they're broken. So you got three now. The cow, the lion, face of man. China, Africa, and Asia. And then what happens? Africa takes out Asia. Now Africa takes out Asia, all you have now is China and Africa, two world powers. Africa is that horn that plucks the tree by the roots. Now you have those two. It's giving you a timing there. When that happens, this is happening. Then that's when this is happening. Missed that, right? No, we talk about the resurrection. That's taking place while China's taking out America. I think I mentioned that. I didn't. Well, I'm mentioning it now. The resurrection takes place, right, as during the time that China's taking out America. At the beginning of it, just before. Anyway, you got the basic idea. So you got the resurrection. And then, that's the next thing here, is we all come together, demons are cast out, resurrection takes place, demons are cast out. Then we all delivered, ask for Muhammad to deliver us, because Syria and Iran is not coming over here. We live it over to the Middle East. That's the ark. So that's the three. That's what three visions all about. One's about the ark. This is Joseph's personal vision. Second one is about the resurrection and getting rid of the demons. Third one, a low war, last days, the war of the kingdoms, which ultimately leads into the direct conflict between Shabazz or Shabazz and Levites. We're going to stand, bro, and says I wanted to go and elaborate on that, make it clear. Hope I made it clear. I had a couple of visuals there. I wanted to make that clear. That works. So that's what three visions are. Three things. The ark, the first one. Second one is about the resurrection, casting out the demons. The last one about the war between the nations. Open understand, bro. It says that's four creatures. Last one, the seven spirits of the God. Second one, and then the first one is called the seven horns of the Lamb. That's because they also call it seven horns of the Lamb. That's the ark. We back home. We delivered back. We're back home, promised land. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave it there. We're going to understand. Just a follow up, because I should include in the first one. I wanted to make you understand exactly how that works. Because don't be deceived. Some of you will be, but I'm just letting you know. If you want to, that's your business. We're just getting information. Farrakhan's trying to tell you that Joseph means that we're going to stay here and we're going to be massive Levite prisoners. Bullshit. That's why I'm breaking this down, because we closing on him. We're closing on him. It's atomic warfare. All these top people dropping like flies. He doesn't understand it. He will understand in a few more days, very profoundly. Assalamu alaikum.